Okay, we have the second factoring, which is the perfect square trinomial. But before we proceed to the solution of this factoring of the perfect square trinomial, let's have a review of how did we get the perfect square trinomial, and that is the square of binomial. So here they are the same. You can write this one as x plus 4 bracket x plus 4. They are both positive. Now we have x minus 7 times x minus 7, x minus 1 half times x minus 1 half. But instead of writing these two numbers or two factors like duplicating it, we just write x plus 4 to the second power. This is different from plus and minus. X plus 4 times x minus 4 cannot be written as to the second power because they have different signs. Here we are talking of the same signs, and they are binomial. They are only binomial. Positive, both negative, and same. So how do we multiply this one? We will not go to the conventional way of multiplication of x plus 4 times x plus 4. We'll do the shortcut because we're just having our review. Our topic really is the factoring of this perfect square trinomial, and we should identify a perfect square trinomial after our review. So here, our answer here will be a trinomial, 3 terms. Now look at the sign. If you see that this one is plus, everything here, the sign of the middle term here will be plus. If the sign is minus, the middle term of the trinomial will be minus. If that's plus, it's minus, it's minus, it's plus, it's plus. But the sign of the last term will always be positive. Okay, let's get the product of this binomial. We raise this one to the second power. X times x is x squared plus and then plus. What is the middle term? The middle term is you multiply this and this times 2. So the middle term there will be, don't forget that we have to multiply it by 2. So there's a 2 there. Always multiply this and this. And what is that one? If you multiply that one, 2 times 4 is 8 times x is 8x. And the sign here is always positive or plus, the last term. And we raise this one to the second power. 4 squared is 4 times 4. So it will give us 16. It is not 4 times 2. It is not 8. But 4 times 4 is 16. Okay. So that is for number 1. Okay, I'm going to raise this one again. There's 2 here. Okay. Next, x minus 7 to the second. X times x and x squared. What is the sign of the middle term? Because this one is minus, we'll put a minus there. How do we get the middle term? We multiply this and this times 2. So you have x times 7 or 7 times x is 7x times 2, don't forget, and we have 14x. What is the sign of the last term? It is always positive, and 7 squared is 7 times 7, it's 49. So that is our answer for x minus 7 to the second power. Okay, number 3, a little bit hard there. because of this 1/3. Don't worry, we know how to do the middle term. So for the first term is x times x. We have x squared. Because this one is plus, the sign of the middle term is positive. Okay, we multiply, so it's better to write that one. 2, don't forget, times 1/3. I'll put the third here so you know that the 2 is up there, 2/1. And x. So when we multiply, do you know how to multiply fractions? We multiply 2 times 1 is 2, 1 times 3 is 3 times x. So we have here like 2 times 1 is 2 here, 1 times 3 is 3, and then x you may put the x here or up, it's not down, so times x. So that is the middle term, 2/3 x. Okay, we put the x there, or there, 2x/3. And last is the sign of the last term, which is always positive. Then we do the raising of the 1/3 to the second power. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, so that's x squared plus 2x/3 plus 1/9. Next, we have this one. So I'm not going to raise that one anymore because that is your reference of how we got this 2/3 of x there. So we have x here, which is x times x is x squared. Because this one is minus, it's minus. And to get the middle term, because it's a little bit complicated, we write the 2 here. You may put the 1 there, so you know that the 2 is up there. Times, let's have first the number here. And don't forget that we are going to multiply it by x there. There's an x there. Okay, 2 times 1, it's 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 2/2 is 1. Times x is 1x. And simply we write x there, 1x. Because 2, if you want the cancellation, 2/2 will be equal to 1. All of them will be 1. So that is 1x. And then we don't write anymore the 1 there because this understood to have 1 there. Minus 1x or minus x. And this one is always plus. And then we have 1 times 1 is 1. And 2 times 2 is equal to 4. The last one here is x squared times x squared is x to the 4th power. Plus, this one is plus. And then we write the 2/1. Then we write this 3/5. And then we write this x squared here. So here, we cannot cancel the 2 and the 5, the 3 and the 5, no. We just multiply 2 times 3 is equal to 6/1 times 5. It's 5. And then you have square. So you can write here 6/5. That is an improper fraction. 6/5 x squared. And the last term is always positive. And 3 times 3, it's 9. And 5 times 5, it's 25.